Oh, there's lots of stuff. The biggest thing to think about is that you're dealing with a living being. You're dealing with a living organism that has
Hmm.
not grown up and developed with a treehouse in it, on it, around it, right? So the two big things that I always think of, that I always talk about whenever I think about tree houses and how to build them, is one, don't forget that the tree is growing underground. It has roots in the ground. And if you are to bring in what it amounts to a construction site right underneath the tree, right on top of those roots, your really big, beautiful, healthy tree could then get all the soil underneath compacted, could get roots damaged, lack of water, all these kinds of things that cause the tree a lot of stress in terms of its underground structures. That's, of course, the roots. They're doing the absorption of water and nutrients. If you damage those, now you're affecting the whole rest of the tree. I like to joke that if you cut a tree off, oftentimes you could have a new tree sprout from the roots. So you can cut the head off of a tree, what we think of as the tree, and the tree will be just fine. But if you take that top and you put it into the ground, a tree will not regrow roots, most of them at least. I think maybe the willows can be the only example, but you could take a big tree, like a 12, 24-inch tree, and you could cut it off and it will regrow itself, but the top will not regrow its roots. So when you think about like, okay, what's actually the most important part of a tree? It's really underground. So if you mess with that too much, then you are going to be building $1,000 structure, many thousands of dollars worth of structure into a ticking time bomb of something that might just die here pretty soon. So the first thing I always say is focus on your job site management, focus on keeping track of those roots and keep them as healthy and undisturbed as possible. The second thing would be understanding that you are now putting a huge amount of weight in a tree that has not dealt with it before. Of course, you're also wounding it. So you want to take care of the tree as if you're building a really intense and expensive thing in a living organism that could die at any moment. So we know how to take care of trees. So we want to avoid doing something that's really going to harm it. So
Sure.
pruning a lot of the branches away, not always a good idea because that's how the tree makes its food. And if you can build a tree house kind of lower down on the tree so that you're not putting a huge amount of extra weight way up at the top where it's really moving around a lot, that'll be another big help. And then realizing that this tree is going to continue to grow if we do everything right. So if you make a tree house that is, for all intents and purposes, a static thing in a living, dynamic thing, organism, now you're finding yourself creating a situation where there's going to be conflict in the future. So you have to make sure to think, okay, this tree is going to be moving. It's going to be swaying. It's going to be putting on new growth. It's going to be making itself a little bit bigger over here. Some of the branches up above might be pruned or might fall in a big windstorm. So maybe prune it to make sure that you're taking out any damaging or decayed, any wounded things that are up at the top of the tree, but leave as much live canopy as possible. Minimize how many times you're drilling into the tree and causing those wounds so that the tree does not
Okay.
have to deal with a whole bunch of things happening all at once. Then give it a little bit of grace to deal with that. So don't expect that the tree is going to be like, I'm totally fine next year. Give
Yeah.
it a second. It's like getting a tattoo, your body just took a hit. Take it easy, drink some water, have a nice meal, and then just relax for a second.
Don't go swimming.
Don't go swimming, don't go drinking a bunch of booze. Yeah. So you want to make sure that the tree is well taken care of because you are putting a lot of your effort and a lot of your trust in that tree. And you, I think, should really have that tree's trust as well. That tree should trust that you are not going to completely destroy it while you are augmenting its reality in a pretty intense way. So make sure to think about its needs so that it will come back and serve you guys and the treehouse as best as possible.